Why working longer won't necessarily increase your retirement readiness. Boy, I actually agree with this. I completely agree, which is crazy because when you find out from who I'm drawing this study from, I probably don't agree with them on anything. But I agree with the conclusion. I don't necessarily agree with how they get to the conclusion. So let's dive into this. All right, this is the new school, just bunch of, literally far left libs. They're out of control. But I agree with this. The illusory benefit of working longer on financial preparedness for retirement. And here's old Teresa, and I've talked about her a million times a Sunday on this. They are perpetually doom and gloom that there's this retirement crisis. The reason there's a retirement crisis is because the government allows you too much private in your own life. They need more government, more Social Security, more taxation to fund more. And of course, you'd have to be a little, like, yes, sir, no, sir, to get your money from these guys. This is just the way it is. Anytime the government gets involved, there's going to be provisions to get that money, which is why I love the 401k. I love it because it is a voucher system. Just like the GI Bill, it's for just like Medicare Advantage, it's for you. You get to determine how you spend it. That's why I love the 401k. When it's solely a pension, which is what these guys are basically advocating. We need more pensions, more pensions. You must do these things in which to get it. That's not freedom. Freedom's you have the right to do however you want. So let's dive into this, though, because I do agree with this. Older workers with insufficient savings are advised to delay retirement. Using the HRS study, the Health and Retirement Study from the University of Michigan, we compare outcomes of those who delay retirement, a possibly select group with the predictions of a typical spreadsheet model. So she's kind of patronizing in some regard these spreadsheets analysis. And it's funny because that's what climate change people is basically spreadsheet models. Work to age 70 is associated with an 18 percentage point increase in the share financially prepared for retirement. So if you work to age 70, we're going to get basically an 18% increase in those who are financially prepared for retirement. The first thing you should say to yourself, what exactly is financially prepared for retirement? We'll get in that. Compared with the predicted 46 percentage points because most older workers claim Social Security and retirement wealth barely increases. Drawing down retirement wealth while working makes sense for most because earnings are lower than post-retirement income. Interesting. And because many workers workers voluntarily work part-time. So they're basically saying drawing down retirement wealth while working makes sense because earnings are lower than post-retirement income. Huh? Earnings are lower than post-retirement income? That doesn't sound like a crisis now, does it? All right, let's see. Older workers with inadequate savings are advised to work longer. In the U.S., workers who delay claiming from Social Security from 62 to 70 increase their benefits by at least 76%. In theoretical calculations, what we call spreadsheet model, that assume that workers delay claiming Social Security until they retire and also contribute to their employer-sponsored retirement plans, show that delayed retirement can substantially increase financial preparedness. We use the term spreadsheet models because the calculations are simple enough to be performed on a spreadsheet, requiring inputs of little more than earnings, retirement plan contribution rate, and a deterministic rate of return. These simple calculations appear to be the basis of much investment advice from the Society of Actuaries and influence policymakers. Let's see. Using data from the HRS, we investigate whether workers at older ages delivers the promised benefit of increased financial preparedness for retirement, and if not, why not? Our analysis is purely descriptive. We do not estimate how those who retire early might fare were they induced a delay by some policy intervention. We calculate the age-related increase in the share of participants in the HRS working past 62 who are financially prepared for retirement. We there compare this increase to the model projected by the Center for Boston College Retirement Research, Manel et al., who are, on average, drawn from slightly more recent birth cohorts. Anyway, so what she's saying is, Boston College et al. Projected by working from 62 to 70 could increase the share of households able to meet retirement placement rates from 26% at age 62 to 72% at age 70. A 46% increase. That's what Centers for Retirement Research at Boston College are suggesting. So keep slaving away at your crappy job till you're 70, and we will, freaking go from 26 to 72. That's almost a tripling of the people who are ready for retirement. However, these guys, Teresa et al. From the New School, we find that even among those who work until age 70, work increase in the share of households financially prepared for retirement but to be far less, chiefly because many older workers do not delay claiming Social Security. So what Teresa et al. Are saying, the New School, is Alicia Monell's stuff basically says if you stay working until you're 70, you will delay Social Security until you're 70 and continue to maximize your retirement contributions. Teresa et al. Say we don't believe that to be true. And I'm not going to read the whole thing. But I'm going to go into this. I want to go to page 6 because I want to show you here what. Where are we here? I want to show you where they're getting. Because the first thing that comes to mind is what is the replacement rate that we're looking at. I had page 6 on here. Why can't I see page 6? All right, hold on a second. There we go. Page 6. Hold on just a second. It's down here. Yeah, right here. We consider a worker financially prepared for retirement if they live in a household that can retire immediately on an income exceeding a replacement rate target that's drawn from Georgia State University Aon Retirement Project. And so Georgia State Aon Retirement Project, they have a replacement ratio. And what are they using? We're going to show you here. We use replacement rates targets solely to benchmark age-related trends in financial preparedness. We chose a Georgia State target not because of any superiority to similar targets, but to facilitate with the folks at the Boston College. The Georgia State replacement rate targets vary with labor market earnings and household composition. For example, low earner households need a higher replacement rates and whatnot. Georgia State uses consumer expenditure survey to estimate age and work-related expenses that vary with income. And right here, let's see. Georgia State replacement rates targets assume 2008 tax law, a retirement age of 65, actuarial reduction for early claiming of Social Security, and then the denominator is pre-retirement earnings. Okay, so basically they're saying that is what we're going to need. We need this. This is our pre-retirement earnings, $100,000. We're getting $80,000, so we have 80% replacement rate. Is that sufficient? Well, let's read what Georgia State says. And here we go. So again, page 6. Here's a Georgia State replacement ratio study from 2008. It's like we haven't updated this at all. Crazy. So let me just show you right here. If you are, let's see, if your income is $60,000. 46% of your pre-retirement income is $60,000. Your replacement rate is 78%, is what they're saying. So we take our trusty calculator, and they say if your pre-retirement income is $60,000, you are going to need $46,800. If your pre-retirement income is $90,000, you're going to need 78% of that. So I don't know what that is, but you can figure that out. It's probably what's that? $78,000, $75,000 or so. Where are they getting this from? Well, it's just based, here's the problem with their pre-retirement, all this stuff. They're getting their numbers just based on saying, we want you to have the same amount of income you had pre-retirement. We'll take out, so literally is what they're doing. They're saying, you made $100,000 pre-retirement, we think you need $78,000 post-retirement. Why? Because you're not paying FICA, you're not contributing to your 401k, and your income tax rates are lower. That's it. It's stupid. In fact, if we go back to, hold on just a second, my man Frederick Vetese. One of these days I'm going to get him to interview with me. I tried about 2 years ago, but my channel's grown since then. A contrarian's perspective. He's an actuary in Canada, and he doesn't agree with that at all. In fact, not only does Frederick, there's many other people who don't agree with that in the least. And so he thinks about 45 to 50%, depending on who you are. You should get, if you're looking at retirement, let's see, I can't remember, I'm sure I highlighted this. Let's see, hold on a second. Compared to a household where the head is age 54, the average Canadian household headed by a 77-year-old spends only 60% as much. The fall in consumption appears to be even more pronounced than in the United States, though much of the difference between countries vanishes when we take into account differences. So basically saying your income is dropping. If we focus on the drop in consumption, Canadians between ages 62 and 77, the percentage decline is almost the exact same for U.S. households. What we can glean from all this is the steady consumption hypothesis is soundly refuted by the data. The steady consumption hypothesis, what everyone's using, the steady consumption hypothesis, you're going to consume the same amount of money each and every year in your retirement. Consumption falls significantly in real terms throughout one's retirement. Let's see. The Household Budget Survey of the Statistical Office in Germany compiles highly detailed data on a monthly basis of expenditures by household. The data for 2012 is summarized and broken down by age of the head of households. It shows that consumption peaks when the head of the household is between 45 and 55 and is significantly lower at older ages. Household consumption peaks when the head of the household is between 45 and 55. That's me. I'm right there. 50. I'm the head of the household. And it's significantly lower at older ages. That's Germany, Canada, the U.S. How much evidence do we need that the model of the steady consumption household is completely broken? It's just fake, man. And these guys got to know this. They got to know this. Boy, oh boy, boy. Let's see. Hold on. He does talk about, let's see. All right. Just out expressed skepticism about the 70% retirement income target, the replacement ratio. My own personal experience led me to doubt that the elderly continue to spend as much money beyond a certain age. My own parents did not buy any new durable goods like furniture and cars in the last 10 years, and it was not for lack of money. There is no shortage of anecdotal evidence or experience of people in their 80s who no longer drive, rarely go to restaurants, or take few trips, if any, outside the city. Their doctor visits and prescription drugs are paid for in Canada, and here we're still basically paid if you get Part D. So the only visible spending is on health-related items that are not covered by Medicare. He talks about the German study of 1992 of 40,000 German households that did draw down their assets somewhat in their 60s, but then, contrary to all theoretical expectations, assets started rising again after the age of 70. So basically from 67, the assholes are going down, and then they start rising again. This is not the only study. Researchers in various countries have made great strides in identifying just how our consumption patterns evolve over the course of retirement. Overwhelmingly, the results of the research have revealed that consumption in our retirement years is far from steady after all. The higher amount spent on healthcare as we age is more than offset by reductions in spending in many other areas. The age at which this is the case obviously vary, but in most cases, overall spending starts to diminish just a few years into retirement. It's crazy. It's crazy. It's just so much good stuff in here. He talks about the replacement rate, and I'm trying to see if I can't. Let me pause real quick. Seeing that personal consumption as a percentage of growth income varies by household type. It is important to know the statistic, which we call the personal consumption rate, since it dictates our retirement income target, our replacement rate. There is a very big difference between personal consumption rate between lifetime renters and lifetime homeowners, about 15 percentage points on average. Having children can reduce the personal consumption rate by about 4 to 5% per child. If we want, paying off the mortgage early does allow for the personal consumption rate to increase by not by much. If we want the simplest rule of thumb possible, we would say the retirement income target is 70% for renters and 50% for homeowners. Crazy. New rule of thumb for retirement income. If you're a homeowner and your mortgage is paid off, is 50%. According to Statistics Canada, renters who have no children who earn more than $85,000 a year in household income make up only 2% of all households. Among these above average income households, it is just this 2% that would have a 70% retirement income target. Just that's it. It is strange that the best known rule of thumb for retirement income would have such a small fraction of the total population in mind. Ironically, the low-income group, which actually has 70% or higher income target, is not the audience that's sought by banks and financial planners who are recommending the 70% rule of thumb to begin with. So basically, again, going back to what we just said, I'll put a link in the show notes. Get this book, and of course, you buy it through my link. I get that sweet Amazon commission of 4% or 2% on a $20 book, so I'll get 40 cents. All right, so do we already show you the Georgia study here? We did. We showed you the Georgia. So the replacement rates, 94% if you're making $20,000 a year, 78% if you're making $90,000 a year. It doesn't make any sense. And I always go back to me. Between 45 and 55, as Frederick says, is your highest spending money years. Why? Because you got a mortgage, you got kids. This is all there is to it. Mortgage, got kids, you're making probably the most money you'll ever make. And so you're spending to your level of income. You got mortgage, you got kids. Once you stop, and you're also contributing the most to your 401k. Once you quit and the kids are out and the house is paid off, why would I need, if my current income is $100,000, why would I need $80,000 to live on if I have no mortgage, my kids are out of the house? It doesn't make any sense, man. So just the whole thing is nuts. But I get it. What Teresa et al. Are saying, working until 70 isn't going to solve the problem because most people still, even when they work, don't delay taking Social Security. Now, I get that. I just challenge the premise at all. A 78% replacement rate. Put that puppy to the grave and dig it in and be done with it. It's just silly. All right, I'd love to hear your comments. We'll see you.